Okay, so we're going to talk about a couple of things tonight. Hopefully, I can keep this under an hour for everybody. We're going to talk about personal development plans, kind of how can we set up a plan to help ourselves improve, to hold ourselves accountable. So, we're going to talk a little bit about that this evening. We're going to do some goal setting, and we're going to kind of review some of those self reflection questions from Kansas City. So when we talk about our personal development plan, the first thing we have to do is kind of assess where we're at, what is currently going on now, what's going well, what do we need to fix. So number one, where am I currently at? B, what area of my game needs the most work? And you can do that. That type of feedback can be from your ODP, club coach, your high school coaches, or just assessing it yourself. So, for example, after a game, I can sit down and I can say, okay, what things did I do well? What do I need to work on? Number two, after that assessment, we're going to set some goals using that review to say, you know, hey, I need to work on XYZ. So now I'm going to create a goal that's going to help me improve on that item I determined I need to improve. So the goal system that we're going to use for our personal development plans is it's called SMARTER. So that's an acronym we'll talk about here in a minute. Some of you may already be aware of it or have some experience with it. Number two, we're going to make sure we write that goal down and we're going to put it somewhere we can see it every day. After we set that goal, we're going to make a plan or a set of activities to help us achieve that goal in the time frame that we've set. Hopefully, we're going to chunk it so we'll make smaller parts of that goal to achieve the desired outcome, and we'll talk about that here in a little bit. Obviously, we're going to use the KISS formula. We're going to keep it simple to make sure that we can do a little bit each day to achieve that goal. So, really quick here. So, raise your hand if you reviewed the self-reflection questions from Kansas City. Very good, very good. I got a few people that did. If not, that's okay. We're gonna go through those really quick. So if you have something to write with, or you can use your notes app on your phone as well, we're gonna just take a few minutes to go through these questions. Now, if you didn't actually play in Kansas City, that's okay. I want you to think about the last competitive soccer action you had. So the last futsal game, the last tournament game you were in. I want you to think of that time while we go through these reflection questions. So, we're talking about the 6 key qualities of a U.S. soccer player: game understanding, responsibility and initiative, growth mindset and winning mentality, technical execution, physical execution, and learning ability. So, we're looking at those 6 items. So, for game understanding, if we want to think back and say, what did I do well to read the game, anticipate, and make quick decisions under pressure? So I want you to think of something that you did in Kansas City that went well in that area. And then number two, let's think of something in Kansas City or in our last game. What do I need to prove on in reading the game or make quick decisions under pressure? Okay, anybody want to share something they did well for game understanding. You can go ahead and drop your thoughts in the chat. Something you did well to read the game, anticipate, or make quick decisions under pressure. Okay, so talking. That's a good thing. Devin, we've got scan the field before receiving the ball. That's very good. That's definitely how we want to read the game. Dropping back, good. Okay, so some good things. Anybody want to share something they did not do very well to read and understand the game? Something they want to improve on? Not opening up enough, so shape. Communication improvement, good. So those are some good ideas. That's a keeper comment. Thank you, Leo. Coming out and cutting angle, yep. Talking, all very good ideas that we want to improve on. Okay. Next category, responsibility and initiative. What did I do well to ensure I was prepared for the weekend? And what we're talking about there is also focus. So one of those ideas could be, sleep, nutrition, training before the weekend. Or what did I need to do better to be prepared for the weekend? And we can also think about in the game how our focus was. Was I passive when I was playing in the game, or was I asserting myself in the game? Anybody want to share something they did that was good for the weekend or in their last competitive game for being responsible or having initiative? Go ahead and drop that thought in the chat. Getting hydrated, very good. Practice before the event, good. Slept good and stayed hydrated, very good. Limited screen time. I love that one. All right. Being mentally prepared, that's good. Devin, can you elaborate a little bit more on being mentally prepared? What are some things to help you be mentally prepared? Checking if I had all the important stuff for prepared mentally. Good, Leo. Okay. Any ideas that anyone wants to share about being better prepared for the weekend for the responsibility? Something they wanted to do better. Better sleep. Yeah, for sure. If we're rested, we can perform better. Pack warmer clothes. Yes. Did we prepare appropriately for the temperature of the weekend? Very good. Being more focused and having goals for the game. So a little bit more mental prep. Very good. More touches before the weekend. Good. Less screens, more sleep. Good. Wake up focused. Practicing more than a week prior. That's good. All right. Third category, growth mindset and winning mentality. So, how was my focus, motivation, determination, and emotional control? Did I overcome challenges and setbacks? So, if we're doing well in this category, if I make a mistake, I'm able to move on quickly and still be effective in the game. Um, Something we may need to improve on is if something doesn't go well, do I stay focused on that? Um, do I have a hard time moving on from that error to the next play? So let's share a couple thoughts. What are some things that we did well from a winning mentality on the weekend? Either controlling our emotions, being determined, or having good motivation. Anybody want to have any ideas that they want to share there? Ooh, positivity. I like it. Complimenting each other. Next play mentality. Very good one. Yeah, staying calm after the ball got past you. That's good. Not giving up when being behind. Very good, right? Playing like it's 0-0 the whole game. All right. Any ideas for anything we were struggling with? Something we want to improve on when it comes to that one? More confidence, right? Because we play better when we have confidence, right? If we have fear of making mistakes, we can tend to struggle. Moving on to the next play, for sure. Encouraging team when mistakes happen, absolutely. Those are some good ideas on to help us to improve. That's good. All right, let's talk about the technical. So technical execution. This is specifically the skills to manage the ball, right? So how was my ball striking? Was my passing on point? For defenders, how was I in 1v1s? Was I side on? Did I have good body shape? Those type of things. Um, any ideas for stuff that went well for our technical execution individually? Anybody want to share their thoughts here? Shooting and creative play, shooting and scoring, passing, very good. Passing and taking shots, very good. Good. Those are some good technical ideas. Anybody have some technical thoughts that they want to improve on from KC or the last time they played competitively? Anything technically that didn't go wrong or did not go well? Yeah, Leo, that's a great technical one, being good with your distribution. Yes, checking your shoulders. That is a technical activity and a game understanding activity. Yes. Beating a player on the dribble before releasing the pass. Can we suck a defender in to create space for a teammate? I love that one. First touch in 1v1s, very good. Yes, winning the ball back. Can we separate the ball from the attacker? Keeping your head up when playing. Not rushing and not having to pass right away, right? The timing, right? More one touch, playing quickly. Dropping back, yeah. Come out confident. Those are some good ones to improve on. I love it. Okay, number 5, physical. So this is more, our running, jumping, endurance, those type of things. What was good with my movement and fitness? How was my fitness level? Was I able to execute at a high level throughout the game? So were we still proficient in our technique at the end of the game, even when we were tired, right? That shows we've got good endurance. What can we improve? So if anybody want to share some thoughts on what they thought went well for them physically? Moving to space, it's a good one. Endurance spacing, that's a good one. Stamina, very good. Agility when running, yes. Change of direction, very important. Okay, anybody have some ideas they want to share on what they want to improve? Jumping and explosiveness on bigger saves, that's a good one. Stamina for sure. Speed and strength. Good ideas there. All right, now for the last category, let's talk about our learning ability a little bit. So when we're talking about learning ability, did we apply ideas that were shared with us? So that can be from teammates, coaches, or basically from the outside. Is there an idea that I was given and I tried it and gave it an opportunity? And then what could we have been done better? So that's really our willingness to try new things, right? Anybody have some ideas that were new to them in Kansas City that they tried? Either it worked or it didn't, but at least they tried it. Anybody have a new idea that they tried? All right, some skill moves. That's good. New moves, definitely. When the ball gets dropped back to me, control the game and let my team set up. So a little bit of patience on the ball. Good. Playing back and switching the field more often. Different formations for sure. New position. Yes, absolutely. Did we play something a little bit different? Combinations, overlapping, give and goes. Good. All good stuff. Anybody have a new idea that was suggested that they didn't try? And if there was an idea that was suggested and we didn't try it, why do you think that is? And I know for the most part, a lot of us are pretty good at trying new things because we're all still learning. So the improvement here might be a stretch for some of us. Maybe we were scared to try a new position. Or we weren't comfortable doing something new. All right. So hopefully we have a couple of thoughts that we have written down or in our notes for each of these categories, something good and maybe something we want to work on. So we want to hang on to that. And we are going to talk just a smidge about our goal setting. Actually, before we do that, let's do this. Okay, so if we go back to thinking about our development plan, right? So let's look at those ideas that we wrote down of maybe some of those items we want to improve on. So I want you to pick one of those items of the 6 categories that was something we did not do well in Kansas City or our last competitive game. and we're gonna hang on to that idea. So I want you to be thinking of one of those 6 ideas that we want to improve on. So let's think about that, and then we'll talk about our goal setting here. So why do we want to set goals, right? So lots of different people set goals for lots of different reasons, but top-level athletes, successful business people, and achievers in all fields all set goals. Setting goals gives you long-term vision and short-term motivation. It focuses your acquisition of knowledge, helps you to organize your time and resources so that you can make the most out of your life or whatever activity we're talking about. So I got a quick video for you guys to watch with some goal inspiration. So hopefully this isn't too choppy. If it's too choppy on the meeting, you'll be able to see it a lot better on the recording when I share that out.
I was a big dreamer, you know, and so my job was to clean these 7 floors between Friday and Sunday. So every time I would go to the 7th floor was the CEO's office. So I would bust in like I was the CEO. I'm dreaming like I'm the CEO now. And who would have ever thought? I've been blessed. And here I am the CEO of my own company.
Well, I think that the number one thing is you have to have a very clear vision, a very clear goal of where you want to go. Because only then you will get there. You can have the best airplane or the best ship in the world, but if the captain doesn't know where to go, he will just drift around. If the pilot does not know where to go, he will just drift around with his plane. So I think the key thing is that we know where we're going and that you're very passionate about that, that you see it always in front of you, the goal.
To thrive in whatever you do, please understand your terrain. Know what your target is. Don't guess it. Be as clued up as the next man, because that's your petrol. That's your fuel to get you moving. If you don't know where you're going, what your targets are, you're never going to get there. Period.
And the other thing that's important is that you got to shoot for the top. You got to go and really have big goals and think big, because then you're going to get big. Then you're going to go and achieve big things. That is the most important thing. You know, we don't achieve big things by accident.
I have to tell each and every one of you that it doesn't matter how old you are, how young you are, your age, you can achieve anything that you set your mind to. And I always say, if I can do it, anyone can do it.
If you think that you're going to go and accomplish something really special and be the best in anything in the world, and you think you can do it without working, you make a big mistake. Because no matter what I did, if it was in bodybuilding or in acting or if it is in the political arena, it always took a lot of work. And you got to put out, and you got to, you know, sometimes make a lot of sacrifices. Notice, if you're not willing to work hard, forget about it.
I truly believe we are all equal as human beings. If we are obsessed with something and we truly pursue our passion with everything we have, regardless of anything else, if you are obsessed, work hard, put in the time, you will succeed. And that is a philosophy that I carry, my coaches carry. And to see LeBron James, who's like a mega superstar over here and a phenomenal athlete, share that belief is inspiring right back to me. It shows that we are thinking correct. You know, this is hard work. This is an obsession. Nothing can beat hard work.
This here is the reality? Do you mean that the competition is not the reality?
Listen, the work is behind the scenes. Competition is the easy part. Behind the scenes is where the work is done. And everything is done to get to that one race that you need to run.
I always questioned myself in the best of times, even when I was world #1 for many weeks and months in a row. At certain times during the year I said, what can I improve? What do I need to change? Because If you don't do anything or you just do the same thing over and over again, you stay the same. And staying the same means going backwards because the other guys are working hard and improving. So I always needed to find ways to improve my game as well.
I very often watch a lot of young people sort of meander around without any idea about why they're doing what they're doing. I mean, to want and to be.
I was a big dreamer.
Okay, so before we move on, what from the people who were talking or you saw in there, what is something that you think they all have in common? Go ahead and drop your thoughts in the chat. Hard work, very good. What else? A dream, yeah, they had an idea. They worked hard, very good. At the end of that hard work or those dreams, what do they all have? Right? Oh, they have goals. Yeah, absolutely. They didn't just go out there and do it. They had an idea. Yeah, they were all successful, right? They all worked hard. They had a dream. They had an idea. They put their goals out there and they worked and they were able to succeed in those goals, right? So the idea I wanted to get across with hopefully that video is this is one part of finding success is having a plan and having goals and having an idea, right? And then the work comes after. All right, so we're going to talk about a goal setting tool that's called SMARTER. It's an acronym. So the S in SMARTER goals stands for specific. The M stands for measurable. A is achievable. R is relevant. T is time sensitive or time bound. E means to evaluate. And R means to readjust. Specific means to be clearly defined or identified. So if we're talking about goal setting, I want to be great. Is that specific? Probably not. Can we make that a little more specific? I want to be great at soccer. So now we're a little bit more specific. But can we even make that more to the point? I want to have a great shot with a soccer ball, right? So when we talk about being specific for goal setting, we want to make sure that this is drilled down to really what we want to accomplish. Achievable. Achievable means to be brought about or reached successfully. When we're talking about goal setting, it means that we can get it done, right? I want to have the best shot with a soccer ball on Jupiter. Is that achievable? Can we have the best shot with a soccer ball on Jupiter? Probably not without the right technology. I want to have the best shot with a soccer ball on my team by the end of the month. Is that more doable? Well, we might want to talk about that time frame. That may not be possible. I want to have the best shot with a soccer ball on my team by the end of the year. Is that achievable? Absolutely. Relevant. Relevant means closely connected or appropriate to what is being done or being considered. So when we're talking about goal setting for soccer, we want to make sure our goals are relevant to the game of soccer. I want to score 20 points in a basketball game this season. That's probably not relevant. And I know I'm being overly obvious, but that's not relevant to getting better at soccer, right? I want to have 10 assists and 10 goals by the end of 23-24 soccer season. Is that relevant to soccer? Absolutely. Time sensitive. Time sensitive means useful or relevant for only a limited amount of time, has a deadline. I want to have the best shot in Nebraska. Does that have an end date on it? No, it does not. I want to have the best shot in Nebraska by July 1st, 2024. Now we've set a deadline. Evaluate. Evaluate is to judge or determine the significance, worth, or quality. We're assessing if our goal makes sense. Is your goal posted where you can see it every day? What have we done today to move towards completing our goal? Are we going to achieve the goal in our allotted time frame? These are all questions we can ask ourselves to evaluate whether we're moving towards our goal each day. Readjust. Readjust is to adjust or adapt to a changed environment or situation. So basically, maybe we've had some challenges that are preventing us from reaching our goal. Based on our evaluation, what do we need to adjust to achieve our goal in the stated time frame? Maybe if we go back to our shooting goal, I want to have the best shot on my team. One of the stated things was I was going to practice my shot 20 times a day. Well, I'm not seeing the improvement I need by practicing 20 times a day. Maybe I need to up that number to I need to take 50 shots a day. Do we need to break up or change our daily activities to move closer to our goal? So that is our smarter. So now I want to take a few minutes and I want you guys to take a look at that one idea you took from that self-reflection that we talked about earlier. So that one of the 6 categories that you want to improve on, that idea that you were struggling with. So, for example, I'm going to grab one out of the chat here and just say, okay. So we kind of talked about getting more touches on the ball for some of them. So if we were going to take that and turn it into a goal, how would that look? Or if we need to work on communication, what is a goal we can set for that? So I want you guys to let's take the next 7 minutes. So I've got 7:38 on my clock. Let's go to 7:45 and take a little quick minute to try to make a specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-sensitive goal that we can try to complete by the end of the ODP cycle. So ODP cycle will be up at the end of May. So is there a goal that we can complete in the next 5 to 6 months? So I want you to take 7 minutes, and if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat, and I can try to answer those for you. Or if you have mom or dad watching with you, maybe they can help you out. Can we make a specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, or time-sensitive goal? So I'm going to give you guys the next 6 minutes, 7 minutes here to do that. And then I'm going to ask somebody to share, and then we'll kind of talk through it and see if it passes the smarter test. All right, I've got 7:45. And if you're still working on it, that's okay. Anybody that is done with their goal and feels comfortable enough to share, go ahead and raise your hand. Oh, Barnes was quick on the draw. You're ready to go. Okay. So we've got that one, and then Dylan. Okay. Okay, we'll go through both of these pretty quick. All right. Dylan and Donovan, you want to come off mute and share the goal that you came up with?
So, as a goalkeeper, over the next couple of months and by May, I would like to improve my distribution accuracy to players on my team. I want to play it to the correct foot and out of pressure.
Okay, and what you said, improve distribution over which games?
Or over the next couple of months and by May.
Okay, by the end of May. And you wanted to play the correct foot.
Yeah.
All right. So let's use that as one of our examples, and then we'll go through Barnes as well. So improve distribution by the end of May. And for those of you who don't know, Donovan is a keeper. Is that specific? Go ahead and if you think it's specific, give me a yes or no in the chat. Absolutely. I agree. That is very specific. That's good on the specificity. All right. Can we measure that? Can we measure our goalkeeper distributions? Give me a yes, no in the chat. Absolutely. Yes, we can. Because we're going to know, as a goalkeeper, when I have the ball in my hands or my feet, when I play that out to my teammates, I'm going to have a certain number throughout the game, and I'm going to know which ones are successful and which ones are not. And we were even very specific on how we were going to measure that as well. We talked about specifically we want to play the correct foot and away from pressure. So we're also being specific about how we're going to measure that success. Okay. So improve distribution by the end of May and play the correct foot and out of pressure. Is that an achievable goal? Absolutely, that's achievable. Now, maybe what is there potentially one thing we could add here to help this be a little bit more measurable, achievable? Now, we could take a look at and we could say, Donovan, how often would you say you do this correctly? Would you say 50% of the time, 60% of the time, 70% of the time? What do you think?
I'd say around like 70% of the time.
Okay. So what we could do here is we could say, so if we're doing it 70% of the time, what do you think is a good number to get that to? Maybe say like 85% of the time doing that correctly?
Yeah, 85, 90.
All right. So if we just kind of tweak this a little bit and said, I want to improve my distribution by the end of May and play the correct foot and out of pressure 85% of the time. Is that a little bit more specific on our measure, and is that still an achievable goal for you?
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. All right, sounds good. Now, is that relevant? What do we think? Is that a relevant goal for a goalkeeper? Absolutely. Distribution is huge for a goalkeeper. Now, if I played, the 9 and I wanted to work on my distribution out of the goal box, that's probably not right. But Donovan's a keeper. That's very specific to his role in the team, so absolutely that's very relevant. Is that time sensitive? Did we put an end date on this goal? Go ahead and drop your yes or no in the chat. I'm seeing some yeses come through. Absolutely, I would agree. We said we want to improve this distribution by the end of May. So very good there. Now let's take this a little step further. So let's see, Donovan. So how would you evaluate this? How would you evaluate this goal as we go through the next couple of months? What's your idea for evaluating?
I would look at how I've improved and how many times I made a mistake or how many times I was successful.
Very
and
good.
then compare.
Love that idea. So he's going to compare how many times he's successful versus how many times he fails, right? So compare success versus failure, and then that's going to let us know how we're doing. Okay, so that's how we're going to evaluate this. Now, what are some things that we don't necessarily know what we're going to do to readjust now, but I always think it's a good idea to say, what are some things I can adjust if I come into some challenges, right? So, some challenges might be I'm not getting a high number of opportunity to distribute, or I've improved. So I was at like that 65 and now I'm doing it about 75%, but I'm struggling to get the 85. What are some things we could adjust on this goal, do you think, Donovan, if we run into some challenges? Just to kind of be trying to be thinking ahead. We may not have a challenge, but just in case we do, what's maybe something we could adjust?
We can maybe adjust like how much I want to improve, or
So maybe adjust the percentage amount that we're trying to get.
Yeah, the percentage amount, or maybe like.
What are some other things we can adjust maybe that aren't necessarily changing the goal?
I'm not sure about that one.
Yeah, so this is maybe thinking a little bit outside the goal and saying, okay, so my goal is 85. I'm struggling in the games to get to that 85. I'm doing my keeper training. I'm practicing with my team 2 or 3 times a week, and I'm getting one keeper training session. Maybe this is something I need to say, hey, Mr. Keeper Trainer or Coach, can I get some more time at practice to work on my distribution, right? And these are the situations I'm struggling. So can I see more of this in training? So maybe just having a conversation with your coach to say, hey, I need to see more in this in practice. So getting some more reps in practice, that's another way we can adjust. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right. Now, very good. Okay, everybody give a quick round of applause for Donovan for sharing. Thank you, Donovan. Now let's go to Leah. The Barnes. All right. so let me find you. All right, so hers was don't react to any mistakes for an entire game by the end of the season. Okay. Yes, Alan got the applause in for Donovan. Thank you. All right. So, Miss Barnes, let's go through this really quick. Is that specific? Don't want to react to any mistakes during the game at all by the end of the season. Is that specific? Go ahead and drop your thought in the chat. Very good. Yes, I absolutely agree. That is very specific. Is that measurable? Can we measure how many times we react to mistakes? Yes, we can. Absolutely. That's an easy one. Okay. Next one. Is that an achievable goal? Now, I want to think about this a little bit harder, right? So, if I make 15 mistakes in the game, 100% of the time, I am not going to react. Is that achievable? Now, maybe we should ask, let's ask Miss Barnes, you want to come off mute really quick and maybe let us know how often you react to mistakes in games right now?
I think I react too often, so I think it'd be hard to get 100% without reacting.
Gotcha. So, what do you think would maybe be a little more realistic for you? To maybe say, maybe do only react once or twice or two times a game?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so.
All right. So maybe we say we're going to adjust that down to no more than 3 reactions per game. All right. Okay, so now we've adjusted don't react to more than 3 mistakes for an entire game by the end of the season. All right. Now we've adjusted that, made it a little more achievable. Is that relevant, right? We kind of talked about the one category of why the mental part of the game is very important. So that definitely is relevant. Okay. And we got some yeses. Yes, yes, yes. Is that time sensitive? Absolutely. We gave end of the season as the goal. And that can be, our 23-24 cycle. That can be the springtime, but that is specific. We just may want to say how that looks. Very good. All right. Since we're getting up to our hour, we will give Miss Barnes a round of applause for sharing her idea as well. And I will be, to kind of wrap this up, guys, I'm going to be sending out a Google form that you can fill out. You don't have to fill out the form, but it's going to ask you to put your goal in there and go through the smarter process. And that way it can come to me if you want some feedback on your goal. Also, I have a surprise that hopefully will show up before the February training for you guys to help with your personal development plans as far as assessing yourself, writing stuff down, tracking notes, and things like that. So hopefully that will be here before our February training, and I'll send that out to you all as well. And I just want to say thank you very much for hopping on the call tonight. I appreciate your guys' participation, and I'll be sharing out the video for everybody else to take a peek at it so they know what we kind of chatted about. But that is all I had for you guys tonight. Appreciate you very much, and have a lovely evening. Thanks all.